This is our home, this pale blue dot. So it's a pretty beautiful planet, I think so. It's my favorite so far. And there's a problem. It's in big trouble. Now, don't leave, I promise. I'm not just going to tell you how horrible things are. But I am going to depress you for the next, and only the next 3 slides. Stick around, I promise, by the end, you will be more hopeful than you are right now. Downer number 1, because of Americans and Europeans, including me, the world has way too much carbon dioxide in the sky. We've burnt far too many dead dinosaurs. The world is hotter than it's been while people have been around, and it's going to get even hotter. If we stop polluting right now, you magically flip off all pollution, we'll see another increase in warming of at least 1 degree Celsius. So we're only about halfway as far as our pollution already has got us. That's the first sad thing. Only 2 more. Stick with me. Number 2, we are not, in fact, suddenly going to stop pollution. Anyone who tells you or anyone you know that they deserve any less air conditioning or private transport than I and everyone that I know is a hypocrite who has never been in the heat of Mumbai or tried to take a bus in Delhi. Our greenhouse gas emissions go up year after year globally. They have throughout all of your lives, and they're going to continue to do so for a while. Really uplifting so far, right? I promise, it's worth it. This is the last one. Unfortunately, it's the worst. This isn't just a slow decline. There are thresholds at which things die, including us. Above a certain combination of temperature and humidity, we cannot sweat fast enough to cool ourselves off. This is called a wet bulb event. It's frighteningly close to some of our current temperature and humidity levels. If it's 34 C and 90% humidity for 6 hours, you're either air conditioned or you're dead. As you all know, Delhi is 34 C pretty much every summer and above, and Mumbai is 90% humidity on a dry day. So, really, really uplifting, right? I promise, that's the end of it. You basically feel now, if you did not walk out already and go get a drink, which would be understandable, you basically feel how I did several years ago. Pretty depressed about our likelihood of having a particularly livable planet in the future. So I decided to try protesting. It was pretty enjoyable. This is me getting arrested for meditating in New York City in the middle of 34th Street with a group called Extinction Rebellion. While I think protest is important, it may not surprise all of you to hear, we didn't suddenly save the world. So I basically gave up. I moved to Mexico, built a solar-powered trailer, put it near one of my favorite beaches in the world, and started spearfishing like addictively, like hours per day, every single day. I would hang out near the beach and while away my days while the world burnt. And that was fun for a while. Then I made a mistake. I read a book. Specifically, I read a book called Termination Shock. It's a science fiction near-future novel, and it introduced me to this concept of solar geoengineering, as Balti said, that we could put something reflective high into the sky to slightly reduce how much sunlight hits Earth and cool the world. I became very, very obsessed. I learned about Mount Pinatubo. This one volcanic eruption cooled the entire planet by half a degree Celsius for 2 years. I looked at the scientific research, and I was stunned to find that scientists know this is a tool that can work to cool the planet. Solar geoengineering could offset most climate change for most people most of the time. And if any of you are scientists or talk to them, when they use language like this, it doesn't mean, oh, it's a 50-50 chance. It means it's happening. Even more stunning to me was that I learned that no one had attempted to use this tool that could offset most climate change for most people most of the time. So I decided to do it. Outside of my solar-powered trailer, I ordered about 1 lakh worth of supplies, a big weather balloon, some helium, some sulfur, lit the sulfur on fire to caught the gas, the reflective cloud in the balloon, added helium, and let it go. If you were about 20 kilometers above me about 2 hours after this, this is roughly what it would have looked like. Watch closely. So the balloon goes up. As the surrounding pressure decreases to equalize, the balloon expands. Eventually it gets high enough that because of the expansion of the latex, it pops. And it's not just a quick cloud like this. This is chalk dust. It's fine to breathe, literal chalk dust. It's not just a short-lived cloud like that. Because we're in the stratosphere, we're in winds that are going like consistently 200 kilometers per hour. So this dust, rather than staying for a few seconds, stays for a few years. The balloon floats back to Earth, fully biodegrades within 6 months, and that dust up in the stratosphere slightly reduces how much sunlight hits the surface of the planet, cooling Earth. I convinced a friend to join my science fiction Bond villain sounding scheme, and we started a company. We call it Make Sunsets, and we invented something called a cooling credit. It's like a carbon credit, except just dealing with temperature. You buy a cooling credit, and we put up enough of our cloud to offset the warming from 1 ton of CO2 for 1 year. At first, it looked like something out of Breaking Bad. We were burning sulfur to make our own clouds. It was very low yield. We had face masks and bunny suits on. We're coughing from the fumes. It was not great at first. It was very, very, very messy. We did it over and over again and eventually got pretty good at it. So far, we've launched 30 balloons for 176 paying customers. And we even captured video from the stratosphere as one of our balloons burst. So far, our impact has been significant, but not nearly enough. We've cooled the Earth as much as 200,000 fully grown trees do in a year. Now we scale up. For the cost of Chandrayaan-3, which I'm definitely mispronouncing, about 600 crore, if we spend that per year, we can offset the new warming that we're creating in a year. This is the Delhi Traffic Police. They cost about 11,000 crore per year. When we put that value of our clouds into the stratosphere, we will drop global temperatures by 0.5 degree Celsius, creating and maintaining a more livable world for billions of people and millions of species. Far more important than the exact cost of this, if you take nothing else away from this talk, please remember that we can and should cool Earth. This isn't someday maybe, this isn't if we invent 50 new things. We can do this now. We can have, if we choose, a meaningfully cooler planet this decade. Because whether we cool Earth or not, this is where we're headed. We can get here one of two ways. We can continue to keep our heads in the sand, emit more, not take ownership of our atmosphere overall, and continue to transform Earth into an unlivable desert planet. Or we can step up, take ownership of our atmosphere, cool Earth, and then use those same tools as we expand to an interplanetary civilization. Either way, this is where we're headed, and the choice is really up to us which path we take. So now I need your help. We are ready and raring to launch many and much larger balloons. This is well-established science. We don't need help there. What we have no idea how to do is to scale this up to get corporations and governments who are most responsible for this and most capable of paying to actually take responsibility and do so. Please share your suggestions with me as an advance thank you. I have balloons for all of you outside. They have a small amount of chalk dust in them. We don't have a permit to let them go, so don't let Lakshmi see you let them go, but if you choose to accidentally lose your grip on the balloon, don't let Lakshmi see, and you will have a slight cooling impact on Earth. Thanks, and let's get to work.